Hello, I'm Sheku. Today I want to introduce the idea of verb tenses in Mende language. And generally, a tense is nothing more than the ability of verbs to situate themselves in time, and specifically in three different times: the past, the present, and the future. When we talk of a verb can happen in the past, a verb can happen now, and a verb can happen later. Verb tense is one of the most important aspects of almost any language grammar, and Mende is not an exception. So this topic is very important for your Mende learning process. And as they say, if you master grammatical tenses, you become a time wizard. That is, you'll be able to express yourself, tell stories, and say things about the future. In a nutshell, you'll be able to speak the language. If you are new here, welcome. This is Learn Mende platform where we teach you how to speak, read, and write the Mende language in a very simple and friendly way. Please subscribe and follow the channel if you are interested in learning and knowing more about the language. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you please for staying with the channel. Now straight into the lesson. Let's have a simple example here with the word come and put it in these three basic tenses. For the present, we say come. Come. For the future, we say will come. For the past, we say came or did come in the English language. Now let's see how this works in Mende language. And interestingly, it's not much different from English, so you'll find it simple, I hope. Now, the Mende word for come is wa. Wa. This is the base form of the verb. So for the present, we have wa. And for the future, we have the base form of the verb wa and something else added to it, just as with the English language. But here, we add it not before the main word, but after it, or as a suffix to it. And that is lo. Lo. So we have wallow. Wallow. Even though some people may write it separately, but arguably it should be written as one word. Wallow. And that is the basic form of the future tense for the positive statement in Mende language. We'll talk about it when it is in the negative form. But before that, let us have the past form of the verb. For the past, we have wa plus the suffix ni at the end of it. So we have wani. The ni is what indicates that the verb is in the past form. And simply, this is how the past tense of the verb is formed in Mende language. Literally all the verbs in Mende, all of them. We don't have regular and irregular verbs as with English language, where we have verbs to which we add ed at the end, and some we change some letters within the words, while others are spelled completely differently to form the past tense. We don't have all of that. We only have ni to the end of the base form of the verb to form the past tense of the verb in Mende. But take note, the ni sound at the end of the verb is usually not pronounced by fluent speakers. The n is elided or removed when pronouncing the word, as with many other words in Mende language. So instead of wani, you will hear people say why. Why. You will hear people say why most of the time. But both of them are used actually. Wani and why are used interchangeably. But it's good to be guided so you know that why and wani are the words. Now you have the basic form of the verb tenses. Let's look at the past and future when they are used in negative and positive statements. For the past tense, if the statement is in the negative, we add the word e before the verb. E. And e means not in English language. So we have e wani or ey, which means did not come. For example, Abu Iwani or Abu Ey. And that means Abu did not come. Abu Iwani boy or Abu Ey boy. Abu did not come yesterday. Abu did not come yesterday. I hope you got the point. Now, let's look at the past form of the verb used in positive statement. If the statement is positive, we add the word lo as a suffix to the verb. So we have wanilo or wailo. For example, Abu wanilo or Abu wailo. Abu came or Abu did come. Abu wailo boy. Abu came yesterday or Abu did come yesterday. I hope you get the point. These rules do not change at all, so take note. Now, we come to the future tense. Remember, I told you that law is used for the positive statement. We have walo as an example. So if the statement is positive, we add a separately before walo. Are you taking note? We add a separately before walo. So we have a walo. A walo will come. For example, Abu awalo. Abu awalo. Abu will come. Also, know that elision is used here. As in, Abu awalo becomes Abu awa. Abu awa. So the lo is elided and the a sound is elongated. And that is if the verbs end in a, as in wa, da, pa, kla, and etc. Also, if the verb ends in e, the e sound, the lo is elided or removed and the e sound is elongated. For example, the word me, which means eat, becomes me. Me. Abu amelo becomes Abu ame. And that means Abu will eat. Abu will eat it. But if the verbs end in the sound e, I, O, U, and O, we only remove the L sound when we elide it. But the O remains. For example, for to, which means to see, tolo becomes to. Abu ato. Abu atolo becomes Abu ato. That is, Abu will see it. Fe, which means to give, felo becomes feo. Abu afeo. Abu afelo. Abu afelo or Abu afeo. Only the L is removed. Another example. Bow, the word for lock. Paulo becomes Bowo. So it is either Abu Paulo or Abu Bowo. Abu will lock it. There you have it. Another example. Pu. That is the word for put. So pulo will be poor when it is elided. Abu apulo. Abu will put it. Or Abu apuo. Abu will put it. Pli or pi is the word for throw or send. And that becomes pililo or pio. Abu apililo or Abu apio. Abu will throw it away or Abu will send it away. So that's it for the positive. I hope you are taking note. For the negative statement in the future tense, we only add the word separately before the base form of the verb. Very simple. We add the word separately before the base form of the verb. For example, we have the base form of the verb wa, and then we add before it. So we have ewa, which means will not come. Abu ewa, Abu will not come. Abu eto, Abu will not see it. Abu efe, Abu will not give it. Abu eme, Abu will not eat it. That's how we do it. Now, I did not touch on the present tense in terms of negative and positive because it works the same as the future tense. That is, the tense we use for the future is the same we use for the present simple, just as we have in the English language. For example, she comes. It's a simple present tense. And we can say she comes tomorrow to mean the future. So you get the point. Awalo, which means she comes, can work for both the present and the future simple tenses in Mende language. I hope that is understood. The progressive tense can also be used for the future, but we will learn that in subsequent episode, as this is just the introduction to the topic. Now, in the comment section, translate for me these tenses into Mende language. Let me see how best you have understood the lesson so far. Musa did not come yesterday. Mariam will come tomorrow. James came. David will not see it tomorrow. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and turn on the notification bell so you will be notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Once again, I'm Sheku, and see you in the next lesson.